Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading. This is your bonus May reading, May 2021. One of my favorite people of all times, Greg Braden, says when your head and your heart become one, you can move mountains. So we're going to look at your head in this first row. We're going to look at your heart in this second row. And then we're going to look at what you need to do to bring the two things together so that you can move mountains. As I've been saying to everybody, mountains don't necessarily mean challenges. This could be something you want to achieve. This could be a goal, a wish, a dream, pretty much anything that you want. What Greg Braden is talking about is more like manifestation. Anything you want to manifest here, and we're going to show you how to do it. So that'll be that. Again, this is a timeless reading as well, so it is for whenever you find it. I just trust that you're going to find it whenever you need it. But let's see what we have going on for you here, Aries people. Aries, make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you this week as well, or at this time. But you have the coyote spirit here in the area of your head. So this card says trust in divine detours. I do feel that some of you do need to trust in divine detours. Like if something isn't meant for you, there's something better. You even have the Five of Cups here. And this to me is like very similar energy that I'm getting here between these two cards. The Five of Cups is a card where normally there's a person crying over 3 spilt cups on the ground, and there's 2 cups standing upright behind them. Traditionally, the Five of Cups represents like losing your taste for wine, basically the guy is crying because he has lost his taste for something that he once enjoyed. But if he would just turn around, he would see the 2 cups behind him. And as I always say, he wouldn't just get those 2 cups. He's also crying because normally there's a castle in the distance and he can't cross the water. If he would turn around, see the cups, he would see the cups. He would also see the bridge that leads to the castle. So it's kind of like a card that says, you're not getting just 2 cups. You're getting something much greater. And so I feel like your head is in this right now. For some of you, I do feel like a little bit more kind of like mentally trapped, especially with this Hierophant card here, Aries. It's like there's this owl that's on this tree. I almost feel like the owl was like, I almost see in my head branches kind of like covering the owl, if that makes sense here, Aries. And I feel like what that message is saying is that there is like trapped wisdom, or maybe you feel like part of your brain is shut off at this time, or, maybe you feel like you can't access some information. It's like what you're hoping for is Empress. And I feel like this is where your head is at. You're hoping for luxuries. You're hoping for the nicer things in life, right? And that's going to be something that is different for all of you. So, not everybody wants the same things, right? But I feel like you're hoping for abundance with this energy, and you're trying to accomplish that. But I feel like you need to let go of something with the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is definitely, again, I feel like you could be almost holding on to something that is really kind of like a divine detour, that is really something that you should kind of release. So I get more of like a release energy here in this first row. That's the best way I could describe it, is that your head like almost knows that it needs to release something. And I feel doing that will help you access this wisdom that is on the Hierophant. But let's look into this here. You have the Eight of Pentacles here as well. You have the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Yep, like I said, you can't make this stuff up. Like I said, I was seeing something kind of trapping that owl that is on this Hierophant card here. It's almost like there's like trapped, like I feel like there's like a bunch of branches around part of your brain, like this, where it's like kind of trapping information, or it's kind of like it's like you're holding yourself hostage almost in this first row here. The Eight of Pentacles, like I feel like saying the word should, and that's the message I'm getting here. That's kind of a weird message. What I feel like that's saying here, Aries, is it's almost like you're saying, I've done all this work, I should have this, right? So like I feel like with the Empress and the Eight of Pentacles there, it's like you're doing a lot of work. You have done a lot of work in certain areas of your life, but it's like you're not seeing the result. I feel like that's part of the trapped energy here. For some of you, this could be in relationships. It's like maybe you do a lot of work in a relationship, but it's like you're not getting what you think you should get in some sort of situation. So I'm definitely getting that for you here in this first row. The Ace of Wands is good though. The Ace of Wands is kind of like a spark. And I do feel that for some of you, something is starting to catch your attention. Something is trying to pull you away from this more stuck energy. But the Eight of Pentacles, like I said, I do feel stuck, if I'm being honest, on the Eight of Pentacles here as well. I love the Eight of Pentacles, but, I kind of feel this like should energy is really the best way I could put it, where it's almost like you feel like you should be at a certain place in your life. You feel like you should be seeing results based off of all this work that you're doing. But it's almost like you're not paying attention to the warning signs here with that coyote spirit. It's like it's not working, and there's something better for you here, and it's the better thing is going to be a new beginning. You have knowledge in some area of your life is what this Hierophant in the Eight of Swords is saying, but it's almost like you're keeping it locked up, you're keeping it trapped. This to me is this energy here to me, Aries, is the energy of like having a job when you have a certain knowledge base that could be great in a business, right? It's almost like the universe is like saying, you're over here, but you need to be like up here. Like not even just over here. I feel like you need to be up over here, like in a different direction in your life. So it's almost like the universe is saying, you're meant for something greater. And even your brain is telling you this with that Ace of Wands. It's like you're meant for bigger and better things, and you know it. Your heart knows it right here. Here in the area of your heart, you have this Imagine card. And on this card, I'm getting, wouldn't it be great if, those crazy reading, Aries. I feel that, you can see here on this card, she has a rope tied around this moon. This represents her imagining a dream. She has a rope around the moon. She's trying to bring it down to earth here, Aries. So there's like something that you are saying to yourself, wouldn't it be great if I had this? Wouldn't it be great if I did that, right, in my life? And I feel this card is saying your heart knows that it needs to manifest something. Your outcome, you have the Magician here, manifesting, starting, building, right, creating something new. So it's like your heart knows that it needs to do something new. It needs to do something different. You have the King of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Seven of Cups here as well. The King of Pentacles, I feel, is part of your challenge. Pretty much every single sign, I've done almost all of these readings now, and pretty much every single sign has had something about, like, convention. The King of Pentacles is the card of convention or conventional belief. It's like the card of the way things have always been done. So it's like, for example, if you were raised in a family where you go to school, go to college, and then you get some great career, then maybe starting a business is something that maybe people don't agree with in your family, right? So it's kind of like you have a battle between those two things. Maybe you have a family where you go to school, get married, and start a family. Maybe you don't want to have a family, right? Everybody wants to do something different. And so I feel like your heart knows that it kind of maybe wants to break away from something that's, conventional here, Aries. And I do feel like you need to listen to your heart here. You have the Four of Cups and Seven of Cups. Again, I do feel you've been experiencing or have experienced like too many disappointments is what I'm getting with the Four of Cups and things just not working out. So that is probably one thing that is holding you back from being able to bring that moon down to earth, being able to manifest a dream. The Seven of Cups is really kind of like two things here. I do feel like it's asking you to focus. She is pointing to one star on this card if it wants to focus, and she's just pointing to that one thing. So I feel like it's saying if you just focus on the one thing that you truly want here, that you know you want, Aries, something different than whatever you've been doing over here, right? If you focus, you will have that Empress energy. We go Empress, Eight of Pentacles, Four of Cups to the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want in your life. So literally, I feel like this card is saying if you just focus on one thing that you desire, you will be successful. I also feel like it's saying you need to let go of the fears. Again, the Seven of Cups, on a traditional Seven of Cups, there are like snakes, mountains, other scary things in those cups. And it's kind of like a card that says, there are like a million reasons not to do something, but there are also a few reasons to do something as well. So you kind of like need to let go of your fears, I intuitively feel, with this energy. But let's clarify this for sure. Again, your outcome here is amazing. And so I definitely like to see that for sure. And again, I want to stress these readings are not meant to be positive or negative. They are just, advice basically. Yeah, I feel like you need to dream. A lot of dreaming. I do feel this could be a little bit of a challenge for you, Aries, like kind of believing in magic, believing that, something is possible, believing that you can break free from a cycle. I'm getting the words generational curse in my head as well. I don't believe in curses necessarily, Aries, but I do feel like some of you feel like you need to break a curse, or you feel like you need to break something that has been kind of like a generational thing. That's what's popping into my head here. You have the Ten of Wands, definitely needing to release burdens. And you have the Five of Cups again. So that is a very important card for you. And again, perfect. Like, again, look, he needs to turn around, see these two cups so he can get to that bridge, so he can get over to this castle over here, Aries. So I do feel like you need to stay focused. I feel like you need to put less pressure on yourself as well. I'm getting external pressure popping into my head here, Aries. What I mean by that is that some of you, I feel like you're taking on responsibilities that don't belong to you. For some of you, it's like maybe you're being put in a position where you're having to take care of your like family, like your parents or something like that. And it's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, to take care of your parents and all that. But at the same time, if it becomes a burden, if you can't take care of yourself or if you can't live your own life, that's when it becomes toxic. That's when it becomes a problem. And I'm not saying it's your parents, but I just feel that for some of you, this middle area here, I feel like you're taking care of something or you're shouldering a responsibility that just isn't yours. And that is kind of pulling you out of alignment because it's like you're not living your truth. And so I would be very careful of that with this energy for sure. Because again, like I said, I feel like you're like taking care of something that isn't yours. I also get this energy of like needing to be more imaginative here in this row. I'm kind of at a loss for words here, Aries. I'm speechless, right? Because I feel in a lot of ways that it's almost like you're being too realistic, if that makes sense. It's almost like you're being too grounded or something. Those aren't the right words, but I feel like there's a need for you to kind of just like have moments where you allow yourself to daydream and escape reality, right? And I feel like doing that will bring you a lot of answers in this middle row. Putting it all together so that you can move mountains, you have the Beaver Spirit. This card just says, you know what? Just form a foundation. Just get started on something that you want to start. It's like maybe you have a dream to do something crazy, like start a YouTube channel, right? This card just says, you know what? Lay a solid foundation. Just like create your first 4 videos, right? And just pop them up and see what happens. This card says, once you get started, then everything will move out of the way. And that's what I really feel this last row is saying for you, Aries, is once you start, that's it. Done. So whatever it is that you want to accomplish, whatever mountain you're trying to move, whatever you're trying to achieve here, I feel like this card is just saying, just take that first step. And that's how to bring these two things into alignment, right? I also feel like you need to kind of believe in the impossible. I feel like you need to kind of like take your goals and multiply them by 100. I always say to people, take your goal, multiply it by 1,000, because if one of my favorite people of all time, Les Brown, my other favorite person of all time, Les Brown, right? He says it's better to aim high and miss than it is to aim low and hit. So I feel like for some of you, it would be better for you to multiply your goals by 1,000, and then if you only get 100x, guess that's way better than what you originally wanted, right? So I feel like that's what this is saying. You have the Magician, the 5 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Pentacles here in this last row. So I really feel like you need to be very careful with your words here with this 5 of Pentacles. Again, this reading isn't positive or negative. This is just advice, this row here. And again, this is what you need to do to move mountains. So I feel like what you need to do to mix these two energies together is to focus on the positive and to only use positive words. Again, 5 of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. It is a card where normally there's a guy on the card and he has a bell around his neck, and he represents a leper. Back in the day when we had lepers, lepers would wear bells around their neck so people would know when they're coming down the street. So I feel like this card is just saying, do not call attention to your weaknesses at this time. Keep it positive. The Magician, I feel, is more kind of like talking about getting started. So I feel, like I said earlier, you just need to get moving on something. You just need to get started. And I definitely feel that will help with this energy. I would also say that I feel like this card is saying that you need to, you need to use your powers of manifestation. A little bit of that, like believing in magic, believing that something is possible for you, right? And so that's what I'd say there. And in here, you have the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles, I feel like, is just you accomplishing your goal. Again, you go Empress, 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups, 10 of Wands to this 10 of Pentacles. I feel like this is you building something long-term. We're going to have to clarify that to see, because I definitely want to see where this 10 of Pentacles is going. You have the 9 of Pentacles. You can't make this stuff up here, Aries. Like I said, just take the first step. 9 of Pentacles is a card that just says, just take the first step on your journey. You will be successful. You will move mountains. Ace of Swords. Boom. Like literally the best card you could probably get in this reading, because the sword on the Ace of Swords is always above the mountains, and it represents a victory, accomplishing something. So you are going to move mountains at this time, Aries. This is a card of success, victory, abundance. It doesn't say that there will never be challenges in your life ever again. It says there will be mountains in your life, but you will easily be able to overcome those obstacles. So, love it. And you have the Wheel of Fortune, your destiny. Love it. Part of me feels like it is your destiny to overcome something extremely difficult that you have been dealing with for a long time. Something that is a burden. The burden for you is quite simple. You're not living the life you want to live, Aries, for some of you, right? It's not going to be true for all of you, but I do feel for a lot of you, it's like you have bigger dreams. You have bigger aims. You have other things you want to do. You know what's really standing out to me here, Aries? Is this Seven of Cups, because she's pointing to a star. The star in the star card represents all things are possible. She is normally on the star card. She's pouring water into the pool that she's about to step into, and she's pouring water out onto the land. And that water is flowing out into the earth. And what it's meant to represent is the fact that all things are possible for everybody on earth, right? It basically says if one person has done it, then everybody can do it. And that's what the star represents, literally. So I feel for some of you, this is saying it doesn't matter like what it is you want to accomplish. I feel like you need to realize that if someone has done it, you could very easily do it. Because I feel this energy of kind of needing to believe in yourself in this first row more than anything. It's almost like you need to believe that you can move a mountain, that you can make something happen. And I feel like you need to let something out here. This very trapped energy right here. Like I said, I get these branches like trapping wisdom or trapping knowledge. It's almost like you're afraid to let something out, or it's like you're afraid, maybe you think that something is worthless, but it's not, whatever it is. So I feel like you need to let it out. It's part of your destiny. I feel like you're moving closer. Wheel of Fortune again would say to make your head and your heart one, to focus on your vibrations. There's a snake on the side over here, and it's going to be hard to see that snake, but the snake represents your vibrations or the vibes that you give off. So I would definitely keep it positive at this time. But this is a really good reading. So thank you for being here, Aries. Looks really nice. Really appreciate you being here is what I was babbling about, right? So make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. Also, feel free to like and subscribe. Really appreciate the support. But thank you, Aries, and definitely enjoy your month.